What's up YouTube, Eric here, Team Owners, bringing you a deck profile video. As you can see from the title, it's going to be over a Psychic deck. Now I just wanted to give you a quick history of the deck and how it came to be in its final form before we got to the profile. I'm also going to cover one or two of the combos that this deck can get off very easily, such as a first turn Beast and Barkion. Now how this deck came to be was last format, once Emergency Teleport was booked back to 2, I decided to go and build a Gusto deck. Now, after a while, the Gusto deck was doing pretty good, and I eventually had a pretty good solid build. However, I decided to kind of improve it even more with the Psychic engine of Serene Psychic Witch, and Silent Psychic Wizard, and Esper Girl, and it was doing even better. However, once Emergency Teleport was booked back to 3, I looked into a straight Psychic deck all its own. Now, that deck was actually doing really well in playtesting, and so I decided to take those Emergency Teleports and the Psychic monsters and just build a straight Psychic deck. I kind of dropped the Gusto engine out of it and just built the deck straight around Emergency Teleport and Psychic monsters, and it just is doing amazing. This deck is very powerful. It can get out amazing combos, such like I said, as a Beast or an Naturia Beast and a Naturia Barkion easily, even more so than 6 Samurais. Now, this deck also has a very killer combo, which only requires 2 specific cards and 1 ditchable card, which can get me a level 6 Synchro Monster, a level 8 Synchro Monster, and a plus out of my deck using Esper Girl's effect. It can also get me a level 6 Synchro Monster, a level 9 Hyper Psychic Blaster, and taking a card out of my opponent's deck and banishing it using kind of a reverse Pot of Duality effect using Mental Seeker. Now, you'll see how those effects work later when I actually cover the cards. So yeah, like I said, the deck is very strong and very powerful, and I can't wait for y'all to get some feedback about it. If you like this deck, if you like the kind of style of me being outside giving a little history of the deck, then please feel free to leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. Now, obviously I can't do the profile out here because I don't have the cards with me. So, let's get to the playmat. Okay, so now that we're at the playmat, let's go ahead and get to the deck profile. Starting off with the monsters, we run 2 Overdrive Teleporter. For those who don't know what Overdrive Teleporter's effect is, it can't be special summoned, so you have to normal summon it, and being level 6 you have to have at least 1 tribute. And you can pay 2,000 life points and special summon 2 level 3 Psychic monsters from your deck. This monster is amazing. He does really well at getting off a killer combo, which I mentioned earlier, and he's just really good. He has 2100 attack, 1200 defense, and his effect can only be activated once while he's face up. So basically, you want to sync with him after you already have used his effect, which is part of the combo actually. Next, I also run 2 Silent Psychic Wizard. He's 1900 attack, 0 defense. When he's normal summoned, you can target 1 Psychic monster in your grave and banish it, and then when he goes to the grave, you special summon it. And being a mandatory effect, if you tribute him for Overdrive Teleporter or Synchro with him, then you still get the special summon, which is really good because that's basically what this entire archetype of Psychics is based around. Next, I also run 3 Serene Psychic Witch. She is the main searcher of the deck. When she's destroyed by any means necessary, monster effects, card effects, battle, and by anybody, me or my opponent, then I can target 1 Psychic monster in my deck that has 2000 or less attack and banish it, and then on the next standby phase I special summon that monster. So if it's destroyed on my turn, it's special summoned during my opponent's turn. If my opponent destroys it on their turn, my standby phase. So it's really good at getting some kind of field presence, and with the tuner monsters, which get their effects after they're banished and special summoned, it's really good. Next, I'll run 2 Hush Psychic Clerics. With Cleric's effect, it has 2 separate effects. When it's normal summoned or flip summoned, it goes straight to defense. So it's like a Summoner Monk in that effect. Then you can also discard 1 card to target 1 Psychic monster in your grave and banish it. Then when Cleric goes to the grave, you special summon that monster. So it's kind of like Psychic Wizard, and then you can synchro with him or tribute him, and then he still gets the effect because it is a mandatory effect. Next, for tuners, for level 3, I run 2 Mental Seekers and 1 Psychic Commander. Most people probably know what Psychic Commander does, but what Mental Seeker does is when he's banished, and then if he's supposed to summon after being in the banished area, then you can look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck and then banish 1 of them. Then the other 2 go back to the deck. So he's part of that level 9 Hyper Psychic Blaster, rip 1 card out of your opponent's deck combo that I mentioned earlier. Next, for level 2 tuners, I run 2 Esper Girl and 1 Psychic Jumper. What Psychic Jumper does is he's basically a creature swap. I can pay 1,000 life points to target 1 Psychic monster I control and 1 monster my opponent controls, and switch control of them. And Esper Girl, she's kind of like Mental Seeker. She gets her effect after she's special summoned from being banished. Then I can remove from play face down the top card of my deck, and then when she goes to the grave, I add that card to my hand. Next, I also run 1 Grand Soil. This is the only area that Jeff Jones actually did kind of influence with his Psychic Earth deck, and that's just me teching in 1 Grand Soil because I do realize how well he does in the deck. However, he's not the main focus of the deck like Jeff Jones did when he topped that YCS. However, if I am not able to get him up, I can always ditch him for Hush Like Cleric's effect though. But when he does come out, it's usually a good game. Next, I also run 1 Gorge just to help give a little bit of protection. Sorry, I can't really talk. I've been a little sick lately. And I also run 2 Effect Veilers just to help stop my opponent, slow them down. If it's wind-ups, then I can just say, fuck you. If it's Chaos Dragons, I can still kind of say, fuck you. Mermail, same thing. Just Effect Veilers are Effect Veilers. And they can be level 1 tuners if I need them to be. Next, for spells, the main reason that this was a straight Psychic deck, Triple Emergency Teleport. I love this card to death. I can special summon any tuner monster or non-tuner monster that I need, and it's just really good. It helps speed the deck up a lot. Next, I also run 2 Miracle Synchro Fusions. For those who don't know what it does, it's basically a Miracle Fusion, but the fusion monster has to have a Synchro monster as a material listed. So it lets me get out my ultimate Axon Kicker, which I'll get to in a sec. And if it's a dead card in your hand, then you can always just set it, and then if your opponent destroys it, it has a second effect where if it's set and destroyed by your opponent, then you can draw 1 card. Next, I also run 1 Mind Control just to help take my opponent's big boss monsters or their Thunder Kings or whatever it may be. I can sync with it, I can exceed with it because I do have some exceeds in the extra deck. And it just helps, take away my opponent's advantages. I also run 1 Scapegoat. This is actually an interesting tech because I wasn't originally planning to use this. However, a while back I was facing a guy on Dueling Network who was using it in their Psychic deck, and it did kind of open my eyes because since the tokens are Earth type, it does allow for you to get to your Naturia Beast and Naturia Barkion very easily. So you can just set it, then during your opponent's end phase, activate it, your turn, summon a tuner, go Beast Barkion, or whatever it may be. Then staples, Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, and I also run triple MST just to help get my combos off because I don't really like, Solemn Warning or Bottomless Trap Hole or anything like that on my opponent's side of the field. It just helps me get my combos off a lot faster because this is a very combo-based deck. Next, for traps, I run 2 Bottomless Trap Holes, 2 Dimensional Prisons, 2 Compulsory Evacuation Device, and 2 Dark Bribe. Now that's a very, very weird lineup you may seem, just because I don't run the Solemn Brigade. That's because with Overdrive Teleporter I do have to pay 2,000 life points for its effect. Now admittedly some of these Synchro monsters such as Thought Ruler Archfiend do allow me to gain back life points, but if I'm not able to get out Thought Ruler then I'm out 2,000 life, and I don't really like to pay an extra 2,000 with Solemn Warning or anything like that. Which is why I went with some of the costless traps just for monster removal, such as Bottomless, Dimensional Prison, Compulse just to take away their exceeds and synchros because this is a very heavy synchro exceed format, and Dark Bribes just to help once again with my combos going off. Okay, so that's it for the main deck. It runs exactly 40. Then for the extra deck, I run 1 Ultimate Axon Kicker. This guy is one of the big boss monsters of the deck. This deck has about 6 different boss monsters, I believe, that I can get to easily. He can't be destroyed by card effects. He has 2,900 attack, so they have to run over it, which is not an easy thing right now. And then when he destroys a monster, I gain piercing damage if it was in defense. And then I also gain life points equal to that monster's attack. So it's just really good at helping to gain back life points. And once again, with 2 Miracle Synchro Fusions, it's pretty easy. With the amount of synchro capability that this deck has, it's very easy. Just bringing them out, once again, very easy. Next, for level 5s, I run 1 Ally Justice Catastor, 1 Magical Android, and 1 Naturia Beast. Naturia Beast is usually what I'll go for early game just to help stop my opponent's major spell cards. Catastor is usually situational depending on what my opponent runs, and Magical Android almost never really comes out unless I have a Miracle Synchro Fusion in hand, just to where I can then go Axon Kicker. Okay, for level 6s, I run one Naturi Barkion. It's the same thing with Beast. It's usually the first level 6 that I'll go for just to help stop their traps. And one Psychic Nightmare. What his effect is I can declare Spell, Trap, or Monster, look at one card in my opponent's hand, and then he gains 1,000 attack if it's the declared type until my opponent's end phase, so he becomes 3,400. It's really good. He's a really good beat stick, and once again, if I have Miracle Synchro Fusion, it's even better. Then for level 7, I run one Black Rose Dragon just to help wipe the field if need be. And also for level 8, I run one Stardust for protection, one Scrap Dragon for a killer combo, which I'll get to in a sec, and one Thought Ruler Archfiend. He doesn't really come out much, once again, except for with Miracle Synchro Fusion, or unless, I feel confident having him out. And with Scrap Dragon, the combo that I was talking about is these two. I'm not sure if you can see it right away, but with Scrap Dragon and Axon Kicker on the field, I can basically destroy any card my opponent has at no cost to me. I can use Scrap Dragon's effect, target one card my opponent controls, and target Axon Kicker. They both would be destroyed, but Axon Kicker doesn't get destroyed by card effects. However, my opponent's card does. So it's an instant pop one combo, and I have a 2800 and 2900 on the field. So yeah, it's just really good overall. Next, for level 9s, I run one Hyper Psychic Blaster. I have to proxy right now because I have one coming in the mail in a few days. I'll have a link down below to the wiki page with his description if you want to go look it up. But most people probably know what Hyper Psychic Blaster does. I also run one Overmind Archfiend. He's actually very situational to bring up, but when he is out, it's usually, good game guy, whatever it may be. He does require one Psychic type tuner and 2 or more non-tuner Psychic type monsters. So he's very situational. I usually am only able to get him out if I'm able to stall for a little bit, or unless I have a level 3 monster in hand and 2 emergency teleports, which does happen every now and then. He has 3,300 attack, so he gets over almost every boss monster in the game right now. And his effect is that once per turn, I can target one Psychic type monster in my graveyard and banish it. Then, when he goes to the grave, I can special summon as many of those monsters that I banished with his effect to the field. So he's very good at being able to swarm the field. That's it for the Synchro monsters. For the Exceed monsters, I run one Wind-Up Zenmaines for protection because this deck does have a lot of level 3s. One Leviair. I usually like to go into Leviair if I have a tuner that's banished, and I wasn't able to get it back, because I can use Leviair's effect to bring it back to the field, get its effect off, and, gain a little bit of advantage. Next, because this deck does spam out level 6s with Overdrive Teleporter and Barkion and Nightmare, I do run one Swordbreaker. Now, a lot of people may think, what the hell are you thinking? You're going to be using a level 6 Synchro monster for an Exceed material? Well, I don't really bring them out that much, but when I do, I need to. If my opponent has a Spirit Reaper on the field, or Marshmallon, or some big boss monster that I'm not able to get over, Swordbreaker allows me to call the monster type, and then I can just destroy it with his effect when I attack it. So it's very situational, but he is able to be brought out almost every single game if I need to. Next, I will cut to the combos that I was talking about earlier in the intro. So yeah, this is the first combo. This is the one that allows me to get a level 6 Synchro, level 8 Synchro, and a plus out on my deck. So yeah, let's get straight to it. All you need to get this combo off is one Overdrive Teleporter in hand, one Emergency Teleport in hand, and one card that can be anything at all that you want to be able to, or that you're able to ditch, that is not really completely vital at the time, that you're able to get rid of. It can be anything in the deck at all. It really just depends on how much you want to get this combo off. Next, for in the deck, all you need to have is one Esper Girl, one Hush Psychic Cleric, and one level 3 tuner. I'm just using Psychic Commander just as a little, proxy. So yeah, what you would end up doing is you can play Emergency Teleport to summon out Esper Girl from the deck. Then you attribute Esper Girl, summon Overdrive Teleporter, pay 2,000 life points to special out your level 3 tuner and your Hush Psychic Cleric. Next, you'd use Hush Psychic Cleric's effect,
ditch the card in your hand to banish Esper Girl. Then you would sync using those two to summon out your level 6. I'm just going to use Barkion as a little example because I usually do end up going Barkion before I go anything else, just to help, stun my opponent's traps. Next, Hush Psychic Cleric's effect will go off because it is a mandatory effect, allowing me to special summon Esper Girl. Esper Girl's effect will let me take the top card of my deck and banish it face down. Now, it is ruled that you can look at the card if you want. Next, because Overdrive Teleport's effect can only be used once while it's face up, it's a little useless right now, unless you just want the 21 beat stick, so then you can sync for it. Go for level 8. I'm using Stardust, just a little bit more protection, in case my opponent has Dark Hole or something like that. Then Esper Girl's effect will go off, being a mandatory effect once again, adding the banished card back to your hand. So yeah, that's the combo. It's very powerful, and once again, with the 3 emergency teleports and 2 overdrive teleporters, it's actually very easy to bring out first turn. Okay, so next we'll go on and cut to the other combo. Okay, so once again, this is the exact same setup as the first combo. The only difference is in the deck, you need a Mental Seeker instead of an Esper Girl. So it runs the exact same method. You would use Emergency Teleport, summon out Mental Seeker, tribute it for Overdrive Teleporter, use Teleport's effect to special summon your level 3 tuner and your Hush Psychic Cleric, Cleric's effect, ditch to banish Seeker, use Seeker, then you would sync, get your level 6, then Cleric's effect will go off, summoning Mental Seeker, his effect will go off, it lets you look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck, like I said, and then banish one of them, returning the other to the deck. So it's like a reverse pod duality in that way. Next, you would synchro with these monsters to bring out your Hyper Psychic Blaster. So yeah, once again, that's the exact same combo. It runs the exact same way as the other one. The only difference is Mental Seeker's effect over Esper Girl and Hyper Psychic Blaster over level 8. It's really just a matter of availability and preference. Both these combos are very easy to bring out. Once again, all you need are these 3 cards in hand, and this can be anything at all that you want to be able to ditch. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the little bit more in-depth profile. What do you think about the intro where I give a little bit of history about the deck? Do you like, the more in-depth deck profile, or would you just rather me do a basic deck profile where I just go here and, go through the deck like normal? Just, give me feedback. I want to be able to make this channel a lot better and make better videos for you guys. So yeah, once again, just leave a comment down below with what you think about it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Feel free to test this deck out on Dueling Network, and just let me know how it runs for you. Once again, this deck is very powerful and very strong, and I honestly don't know why it's not being run even more, especially with Emergency Teleport back at 3. I think that's everything. So once again, this is Eric with Team Islanders, out.